moving on from people as the foundation of all of our businesses and to an enabler, technology, Richard, I'd love you to give comment on what incremental changes you've seen that can make a big difference as to the work that you've been doing with the group.
So my session, we went through very much about tenant sort of, about how people are actually searching for property and what we're seeing online and the trends. So we went through the journey of sort of explaining that it takes a lot of people, they have that 3-month sort of idea and that journey of, okay, I want to move, and most of it's driven by a lifestyle need to move, to be closer to workshops or schools or whatever. So 3 months is about the journey, but along that journey, it was then we sort of link it back to technology of what are we doing along that journey to help people find property. The pain points that keep coming out are the same pain points, and they always have been there. And we're seeing the massive shift to mobile, and everybody wanting things right now in demand on their mobile. So what are you doing as a real estate business to be mobile friendly? What are you doing to make it easy for tenants? Are there enough photos on there that is making it easy for people to select that property without having to make that phone call or email inquiry, which is painful for the tenant, that's also making property managers busy, and the pain point there is that they're overworked and they don't have enough time. We looked at, in property management, it's a lot more difficult for landlords to pick an agency because it's not like they can, on our site and on many other platforms, you can look at ratings and reviews when it comes to sales, you can look at sales history for that agency, but when it comes to property management, it's very difficult for landlords to pick an agency. How big is their rent roll? How many properties do they manage? A lot of agent profiles on our site are great for salespeople, but really poor for property managers. So how are you showcasing your staff and your awards and what you do and your systems and your processes online so people can pick your businesses? So we looked at that, and then we looked also just reiterating the fact of the tools that are out there. So tools such as Inspect Real Estate that saves hours of a property manager's time. It's a data capture point for you as well, that you're getting qualified names and people coming to the OFIs. It's allowing property managers not to turn up to an open for inspection if nobody's registered for it. Why would you send and stand there for 15 minutes if you don't need to? So that to me is one of the biggest game changers of technology in the industry, of people booking open for inspections. We're seeing more and more people demanding that on site and getting frustrated with agents that don't have that technology. They want to be notified if the property's been leased. They don't want to turn up to find that it's not there and the property manager says, oh, well, we've got other properties, does that suit? That's a waste of somebody's time. So it's everything on their mobile. If they can't do it there and then and get that information, that is really, really, really what's driving it. The other one was OneForm. We looked at OneForm. Obviously the way that business has sort of grown, it was a consumer driven piece of software that would auto create accounts for property managers. There's a lot of property managers that have never been trained or educated on OneForm and how to use it properly. There's many features in OneForm, but property managers just use it as a catch net to catch applications, and then they will print out the application and deal with everything pretty much in front of them on a table. Using features in OneForm that can pass information over to REST, that can link to tenancy database checks, that can send off email templates or SMSs, and just using technology better to free up time. That will save hours of people's time and staff, reduce labour costs. And again, it's that digital footprint and that the brand that you're showing out there. If you're an agency that embraces technology, you care about tenants, you care about the staff in the agency to make this thing run really slick and really well. So that to me, however you can enable the whole process for your staff to be mobile, so they're out on the road capturing data and not using paper and pen as much as possible, so that they're using systems where everything links and integrates. That to me will be the biggest game changer and the solution of the industry, where labour costs can be reduced, tenant and customer experience and landlords, the whole experience will take a massive light year shift.
Decrease friction across all parties.
It will, it honestly will. The communication and maintenance one, that will, like I said before, that'll be the next game changer that links it all together. But as business owners, you need to be looking at what systems integrate to which, and if property managers are using one system and then it's stopping, and then they're printing things out or rekeying information into another, you've got the wrong systems. Everything can pass information to each other. It's just about finding the ones that do it best.
What about from the directors in terms of the technology that you've implemented over the last number of weeks, and what's the impact it has had on your team members? Because I think Richard points out a really great point that it's not just attracting your customers, but creating a really fantastic experience for your team members to operate in.
Yeah, for me, we focus really hard on our sales side with our profiles online with realestate.com. We hadn't done that with property management, not for any other reason other than what didn't seem important. I think that session brought that to light, that we had to make sure that we were doing that equally as well as we were doing it with our sales business. I think another thing which we've integrated down in SA is the connections. Now, one of the beauties of realestate.com now is you've actually got numerous things that all link together. So you've got the one form, you've got the connections, you've got everything sort of pulls together. So it makes that whole system that much easier and quicker. And obviously everything's about time these days. So the quicker you can make things happen,
Yeah.
The easier it is for your property manager. Obviously, the cheaper it is to run your business, all those things.
Good. Any other? Kelly?
A lot of the technology already.
Great.
And things like IRE and so on, but we just weren't using it properly.
No.
And particularly with realestate.com, I had no idea that you could integrate some of those things like the one form into REST. We're just manually sitting here retyping the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, so all of the things that we actually learnt from Richard's session was the fact that we weren't using our stuff properly.
Yeah. It's such a huge challenge for providers of tools into the industry, is how do we help users get as much value as is possible from the tools that are out there.
It comes down to good account managers. Like we had Inspect Real Estate, and I was ready to dump it,
Yeah.
to be honest, until we had your session.
Yeah.
And because I just had enough. We weren't getting a service, and just by going and talking to Inspect Real Estate, we ended up getting a lady from WA to come over and sort us out. But understanding how that system, it's a fantastic system.
Yeah.
We just weren't taught how to use it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what this whole Transform's been about, is actually understanding what's out there and understanding there's some really good products, but unless you use them properly, they're not much good to you at all.
They're none.
And you inherit bad habits, so you use the system the way everybody else is using the system in the office. So until you lean on these account managers and keep getting them out there, keep learning the features, that's when you'll use the product to the full advantage. Because so many people, like, I never knew realestate.com can do that, or can provide that stat or that report, or that'll help the BDMs in pitching to that landlord, or I didn't know Inspect Real Estate could send an owner report after the OFI, so I don't have to call the owner. So many little things that if you get one or two things out of that every session that you have, if you meet them once every few months and you pick up one tiny idea, you're talking hours and hours of savings for your business, which is a game changer.
Another, from a supplier perspective, if the industry can share what would need to change for you to get more out of what it is that's already out there, I'd love to know, because we really struggle in understanding how do we get the message across that training is just so critical. But is it training? Is it different? Is it something else? And I'm not exactly sure, but we would love to know more, because there is just so much latent value sitting in front of our customers every day.
I think from our point of view, our business, we bring in someone every week to our team meeting. So ours aren't sales meetings, they're team meetings. So PM, admin, everyone's in there. And we bring suppliers in every week.
Yeah.
And it's only for 15, 20 minutes just to give us a bit of an overview on some of the new stuff. And I find that is really invaluable, because we just can't find time to sit down with every single person and try and understand. I can't sit down and talk to realestate.com about everything that it does, because I don't have the time to. So if you can pick something small out each time, and these guys, that's what they do. They're trained on each, all the time. The training with the bigger companies is phenomenal. So
That's right.
We've got to lean on them, and I think the account manager's the most important
Yeah, I agree
person.
with that.